What's up, everybody? It's your boy NornRad89 here, bringing you another video. In today's video, I thought since we are coming closer and closer to the next addition to the Scream franchise, I thought it would be really fun today to just sit down and talk to you all about my journey with the Scream franchise as a fan, as a horror fan, a slasher fan. You know, slasher is one of my favorite subgenres in horror, so Scream has always been very prominent in my life since I was a child, and also talk about some of my hype and anticipation for Scream 7. So let's get into this. Roll it. So today we're going to talk about, as I said in the beginning, as a horror fan, my journey with the Scream franchise and also some of my anticipation and hype for Scream 7. Maybe a little bit of my thoughts on what's going to happen, but I'm not going to really dive into that. I just kind of want to soak that up. More of this is just to talk about and gloat about the Scream franchise, which is a franchise that has been long-lasting as a slasher franchise. And when the 90s hit, slasher subgenre was really kind of dead in the water. There really wasn't a lot of fun slashers. Like, there are some out there that you got to seek out and everything, but until Scream hit, it was kind of a dead subgenre. And they just, what Wes Craven did and Kevin Williamson did with that first film is they revitalized and revamped that subgenre of horror. And Scream has always been a very prominent franchise in my life. But it's really cool to talk about this one because this is primarily a home video franchise for me. It wasn't until Scream 5 and 6 came out that I started me and my wife started taking my daughters and stuff. So Scream 5 and 6 were the only Scream films that I had theater experiences with, which is kind of crazy, you know, me being such a slasher fan. But when the first Scream came out, I was pretty young. I was only 6 going on 7. So my mom didn't take me to the theaters to see Scream when it first came out. And Scream, I believe it was VHS and Scream 2. So by the time I went to the video store, I had to been like, I think 8 or 9, because I think the second film was out already. And I remember going to Video Update, and there was Hollywood Video. Those were the two video stores closest to me. There was a Blockbuster, but it was the furthest store away from me. So I was a kid, and when I was with my mom, we would fancy Hollywood Video and Video Update more because they were literally right down the block, like 5 minutes away, or like 12 minutes walking distance kind of thing. So I would go there and I would check out the VHSs and rent them, you know, and slashers were my favorite thing, you know, Jason and Freddy Krueger, and then even getting into Leprechaun and Chucky Child's Play stuff. But I believe Scream 1 and 2 were already out. So I had to be about like 8 or 9 already. And I remember renting them and just having such a blast. You know, one of those weekends you remember when you have your favorite food, which was probably for me, I was probably eating chips and dip, and I probably had pizza bagel bites or something like that, like those Totino's bagel bites or something. That was probably what I was munching on and sipping on like a Coke, you know, and then that was my favorite thing. So I was probably chilling in my room watching Scream 1 and 2, or maybe even with my mom, because my mom did often watch these movies with me, but sometimes I would just chill in my room and I would hang out and watch these films. So yeah, primarily Scream 1, 2, even 3, and even 4, all home video watches. That's how I digested this franchise, and it's really fun when I like that stuff, because another franchise that's very similar to this for me is Puppet Master, but that's because it is a straight to home video series. All of those went straight to video kind of thing, you know, and all that. But I love the video store. I love renting movies, and that's such a potent certain time of my life that you just remember, and nostalgia, like the smells, or walking into a video store, and it's like almost going to the theaters, you know, picking out popcorn, your favorite candy, some movies to watch, and then going back home and just relaxing on your couch or in your bedroom and enjoying some movies. So, and just rewinding a VHS player, VCR, you know, and having the VHSs, the smell, just the nostalgia of touching it. I really do love that. So yeah, this franchise has always been a staple of watching it at home. But now, since I'm more of an adult, and since Scream 5 Cream, and Scream 6 came out, those ones, me and my wife, we took our daughters to see them. And it's been really fun to turn this into a theater experience thing. And Scream 7, of course, we're going to be taking them to go see Scream 7 in the theaters. So So it's really evolved, and that's what's cool is the Scream franchise for me. It's kind of been this whirlwind of, different evolution of being a home video digestion of really loving that, and then now turning it into more of a theater experience thing. And for me, the first one will always be king. Like, I've done Scream rankings, and I have reviews for all the Scream films on my channel already, so I'll have playlists down below in the description if you want to click on that playlist. But in terms of the Scream franchise, yeah, the first one will always be king for me. But 5 Cream came really close, and that's why I was really upset when they kind of moved away from Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera, when the kind of production company and the actresses just like there's a butting of heads, and then one actress left and then another actress left, and it became this thing. And now Scream 7, it's kind of, they had to really pull out the stops and bring Neve Campbell back like they had to. Pay her the money that she deserves and bring her back so she can play Sidney Prescott, and she's going to be our lead in this 7th film. And I'm not sure if this is going to be the last film. Like, Scream franchise is one of those franchises that I feel like it could end eventually. Like, I don't think this is going to be... No, it's not an offense to Scream or anything. It's just I don't see the Scream franchise being like Jason or Freddy or Halloween, where you're going to hit the double digits and we're going to be hitting 12 or 13 or 14 movies kind of thing. Because when it comes to those franchises, like I said, Nightmare on Elm Street, it's been a rough time and we haven't gotten one recently. But I think since we have already been through another Michael phase of having Halloween to Halloween Ends, you know what I mean? And then we're coming up with the Camp Crystal Lake TV show. I think the production companies are going to kind of notice what's going on, and we are going to see a resurgence and a revamp of Freddy coming back eventually. So that's one thing for sure. But for me, Scream franchise, I think eventually it has to end. Like, I feel like because they're so stable, and it is one of the most consistent franchises, I would argue that it is kind of rinse, recycle, repeat, and all of the films are kind of the same. Like, when you think about it in your head, literally the only thing different in the Scream films is who is our lead character that we're following and who's the character reveal at the end. But pretty much the layout, the way the films are executed, they are all pretty much the same. So that's one thing that I would kind of argue about Scream franchise. But you gotta say, as a horror fan, it's been one of the most stable ones for the horror community and is long lasting for real. But I feel like as a fan of this franchise that it does have to end eventually. And I feel like Scream 7, if they don't end it here, I would end it with Scream 8. Like, that would just me as a choice, but I don't know for sure. But we'll see what's happening with Scream 7. In terms of anticipation and excitement, I'm definitely excited for this film. This is definitely one of those ones that's on my top list of anticipation. Do I think it's going to be the best? No. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Like, I do not think this is going to be the best Scream film. I think this is going to be a very safe Scream film, one that's going to play it by the numbers in the books and just kind of, play to the fans of the first 3 films, particularly because I think those first 3 Scream films, that trilogy, is just those first 3 kind of have a certain fan base that really respects and loves that style of the Scream films, you know what I mean? And I think they're just going to really play it safe with this one. But I feel like there's going to be some twists, some turns. I don't know how I feel about Matthew Lillard coming back as Stu. Like me, I did not mind him being dead in the first Scream film. Like, I love his character, but I just always assumed, like I said, he was dead. I feel like in this one, bringing him back, or even Roman, with Roman's character, because he was such a prominent factor into why they were targeting Sydney and all this stuff. So there's a lot of opportunities to really make this a solid and one of the best Scream films, but I'm not sure it's gonna be. Like, for me, I feel like if I was to be a betting man, I would probably say this is gonna be a middle of the road film for me, Scream 7. Like, right now, like, let's just play around, like, to predict my rating. When I see Scream 7, I'm going to predict that my rating is going to be like a 7 or a 7.5. Like, I think that's just how it's going to be. It's going to be an average, kind of above average. I mean, that is above average for me, but I feel like it's not going to hit like some of the other ones. Like, for me, like Scream, that first film, is always king. 5 Cream is my second favorite, and then my third favorite is Scream 2, and that's because I have such a huge nostalgia with the first film and Scream 2, and those ones I just always remember binging them and everything. And I feel like 5 Cream was the one that came closest to that first film into matching the stuff that I wanted. And even, like I said, Dewey's death, like I freaking loved it. It was so potent, very amazing. So yeah, for me, this franchise, it's always been a weird mixed relationship because of what they handle and how they do certain things. So we'll see what happens with Scream 7. But please let me know down below in the comment section what's your excitement for Scream 7, and are you anticipating it's going to be one of the best in the franchise, or do you think this is just going to be a safe bet, middle of the road film, or do you think it's going to be one of the worst? I would love to discuss with you down below. But also like, share, subscribe. That greatly helps out the channel. But most importantly, you all know what's up. Have a safe and happy day. Peace out.